Okay, let's go right into tabletop today. So finding table, hands underneath our shoulders, knees to hip distance apart. Take a little peek between the thighs. And if you can see your big toes, take them directly behind your thighs. We'll intuitively move with some cat and cows. Inhale, lifting through the heart, arching the back for your cow pose. And then exhale, rounding through the spine. Inhale, dropping the belly, arching the back. And exhale, rounding through the spine. A couple more like that. Inhale. And exhale. Keep moving through that with your breath. Most of us are familiar with cat and cow. It might be actually a posture that you use on your own time. And cat and cow is building strength in the upper body as you press your palms, and it's warming up that lumbar spine as we start to find some roundness, and as we start to dip back in the belly. Don't forget to incorporate your neck as well. So the next time you lift a cow, find length in the neck, and then tuck your chin, round your spine as you come into cat. One more like that. Inhale, lift into your heart, arching in the back. And exhale, rounding through the spine. We are going to come seated on our heels. This is a great opportunity to use that bolster or that pillow that I asked you to grab. And we're going to place it on our heels and sit back on side. So you might be a little taller like me, have more cushioned type of bolster, or just something so there's not so much pressure on the heels. Still tall in the torso, and we'll take one arm in front. We're going to work on all of that. Maybe stress or fascia that's been built up in the forearm by drawing your fingertips towards you. So press them back as you're pressing your palm forward. Maybe close the eyes and direct your prana to that palm. From here, stay on that same hand, but reach for the thumb and draw that thumb back. You get to gauge how much tension you're using. And you release that hand down and maybe roll a couple times through the wrists. Get rid of any of that buildup or open and close the hand. And let's do the other hand as you press it in front and draw the fingertips back. From here, let's reach for the thumb and gently draw the thumb back, also flexing that palm. Notice if the shoulders are starting to creep up. Drop the shoulders down. And we will release that hand and roll through that wrist a few times, come off of your bolster or your blanket if you're using them. And then tuck your toes and either stay here and grip through the toes, or if you want more, you're gonna sit back on the heels. I know some of us are sharing at the beginning of practice that we have more so of a hate relationship with this pose, not so much a love relationship. 6 breaths, spreading through your toes, releasing that fascia of the feet. 2 more breaths, like that. Sigh it out, because I know this is a biggie. 1 more. And we will come back to our hands and our knees. We'll do the reverse of that, press through the tops of the feet. Sit back on your heels. You can place your bolster back if you need to, but we won't be here long. And then if it's part of your practice, can you float the knees off the mat so that we're getting that stretch in the shin? Or you could always come to a seated posture and draw the toes back. So I'll demo that quickly. You could always come to seated and draw the toes back and press that foot into your hand at the same time to find that length in your shin. So we will do it twice for those that are doing 1 foot at a time, and we've already gone right into it. You're just gonna hold for a little longer. So your choice. Let's do 6 breaths on each side. And pointing through your toes if you're seated. One more breath. And we'll lower the knees, or you're going to switch legs if you're coming onto that other foot. So take a moment here to switch feet. Draw the toes back, and let's go for 6. So either floating the knees or pressing that foot back. And let's release. We're going to lower the knees back down. If you're still seated, knee back on table, and come into a downward facing dog. Start to pedal out any of that buildup, walking your dog. And a down dog is not part of your practice. You could always move back through cat and cow again, or you can even take one leg out of your table. Beautiful. There you go. A little bit more light here tonight. And then when you come into that down dog, find stillness. Bend into your right knee and press to your left heel. See what the dialogue is with the hamstrings on that side. And then exhale, switch legs, bend into your left knee, press to your right heel. And release, coming back to a neutral down dog. Find your way to the top of your mat. Whatever way is best to get there, stepping or hopping. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, so we're resetting the spine. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Root your eyes and come all the way up. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Pause here for a moment. Set your intention for today. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Step back with your left foot and lower the knee down. Untucking your toes, front knee is going to stay above ankle. Finding your modified crescent lunge. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, sink into it. Lower the hands to frame your foot. Beautiful, nice. Inhale. Take your palms face up as you're scooping that prana, that air. Exhale. Sink back into your hips. 2 more like that. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Tuck your toes and you're going to send yourself back into your down dog. Take 6 breaths in down dog. Your rest poses for this practice can be down dog, table, or child's pose. Then into your right knee, and then step your left foot forward. So that little bend in the knee should bring you closer. Lower your right knee down, untuck the toes. Knee above ankles, we're on the other side now. Inhale, lift to your crescent. Exhale, sink into it. Draw the hands face up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sinking into it. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Tuck your toes and step back into your down dog again. Maybe you want to walk dog, or you want to hold a down dog, or this is your chance to rest. We're going to lift the right leg up, bend your left knee, right foot steps forward. This time you're going to stay in your runner's lunge. This is where you can use your blocks if you have them. Get a little taller. So either stay on the blocks or take your arms out. 4 breaths. Exhale, lower the hands down. You can move the block, step it back into your down dog. And then we'll come to our knees, finding a modified vinyasa, lead with your heart forward. So find that modified plank as you lead the hips, chaturanga dandasana, lifting baby cobra, and then pressing back, down dog. Float your left leg up, step your left foot through, find your runner's lunge, it might be knee bringing the blocks back, right hip presses forward. Decide you're staying with the hands down or taking the arms out, airplane, 4 breaths. You hugging your navel into spine. Think you're gonna add a breath here. Exhale, lower the hands, remove your blocks, step it back into a plank, and then lower your knees down. Find chaturanga, lifting up baby cobra, and press back to child's pose, take a rest. You roll back up to our tabletop and tuck our toes like we're gonna come into that fascia work again, except you're walking the hands back. This time you're gonna lift the knees up, finding a toe squat. Knees towards your chest, palms can maybe come up to center or use blocks again. You can bring them to the outside of the knees or the thighs for a little bit more support. That same intention of spreading the toes, releasing all the muscles in the feet. 1 more breath. Lower the hands down, lower your heels down, come into a forward fold. Inhale, half your lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend into your knees. Root your eyes, come all the way up to stand. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll bring our hands to our hips. Weight into your right leg, bend into your right knee. Lift your left knee up for a bit of balance. I want you to lunge forward. Find your crescent lunge. Yeah, that's your challenge for today. You need to readjust your back foot. Make sure that you take a nice wide stance. Right hip presses to the top of your mat. Left knee is above ankle. Hands can come to prayer now. Pubic bone tucks forward. Sit a little lower in your lunge. Get a little taller without locking that knee. 2 more like that. Dipping low that back knee. And a little bit of length. 1 more like that. Dipping back low. And a little bit of length. Hold it here. Find that crescent lunge again. You want to make sure nice and warmed up for our lean posture tonight. Lean postures, working on those hips. From here, windmill your arms as you pivot on your back foot. Heel to arch alignment, so you might have to heel toe that front leg. Arms extend. Right hand's going to come down to the inside of that leg. This is a great option again to use your block. So, sorry, I might have said right. Left hand to the inside of that foot into your low lunge. Nice. Front leg's going to stay bent. Core is going to lift you up for your Virabhadrasana B. Gorgeous. Lengthen that leg and find exalted. Reaching that arm nice and long. And lift back to center. Bend into your knee. Hands to hips. And step up to the top of our mat, so we'll have to move our block. Step up. Woo! Find your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Bringing your left knee up into your chest. This time you're going to teeter-totter, step that left foot back, finding your lunge. Nice. Knee above ankle. If you need to readjust that foot, listen to your body. Back left foot forward, and then bringing that core in, hands to prayer. Dip a little lower in crescent, and find a bit more length. Dipping low into that back knee, and find length. Dipping back low, and find some length last time. Dipping that low, find a bit of length, sink into it, pivot on the foot, find your Virabhadrasana B. Then from here, right hand down, I want you to skip a step. Right hand to the inside of your foot, left arm extends. Weight into front, right thigh. Two more breaths. Look to your big toe. Use your core to lift you up. Lengthen that leg, finding your exalted warrior. Lift back through your center, bend to your knee. Hands are going to come to your hips. Pivot on your back foot and step up to the top of your mat, finding mountain pose. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. You're moving your blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Stepping back into table or plank, taking a full vinyasa as part of your practice today. Weight over top of your wrists. Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower with control first. Lift up baby or full cobra. And then your choice, are you pressing back to down dog, table, or child's pose? Your choice. When you are ready, we will meet in tabletop. And from table, just come to seated for a moment and grab a hold of your props again. So we're coming into yin, getting a hold of our bolster and our blankets and our blocks. I'm going to face you actually squared on so we can see me a bit better. And our yin practice comes with where we're going to hold our postures. So I will be timing our postures. Not something you need to worry about, but I will be looking at my phone just to periodically check in because I will be joining you tonight with these postures. I'm going to take both legs out in front for your staff pose. Coming to a variation of our seated firewalk. So if you have a knee injury, your first option is just going to stay here in lotus. And then as we progress in that pose, you could go further by extending to that leg. You could use your props here by bringing the blanket, bringing the chin down on that blanket, or using your bolster. That's option one. Option two, crossing the ankle over, using a block underneath that leg, pressing elbow or extending again. Option three, bringing that foot to your glute for your seated firewalk. So right ankle over top of left thigh, and then right knee above bottom left ankle. If you have a big gap or big space in here, this is a perfect opportunity to roll up a blanket or a smaller pillow, place it underneath there. And if you do have that larger bolster, keep it in front, because partway through I'm going to give you the option to lean more forward and to rest your hands on your bolster and maybe even as far as bringing your forehead down. So don't go to your full edge yet in this pose. So seated firewalk, knee above ankle, ankle above bottom knee, bottom left hip, slightly bit more intention forward until you start to feel right glute. All right, closing your eyes if you can, so we're not having any external distractions. And then coming back into your breath awareness. I'll set that timer. You don't need to know how long we're holding. Please just trust. And I say, I'm laughing. I should be laughing. I just meant that less is more right now. So with our yin pose, we don't want to grip like we just did in our yang part of the practice. We want to soften, we want to let go and work into the tissues, lessen the muscle. So great opportunity just to focus on how long an inhale is and go a little longer for that exhale. Finding your edge in this pose. The moment you want to come out of this pose or any posture is the moment you start to learn. Learn through the discomfort. You are about halfway in this pose. It's a great opportunity to use that bolster or something to reach for in front. If you are extending, don't grip. Maybe take the palms up. 3 long breaths here. Slowly roll out of it. Head will be the last to lift up. We will remove that bolster to the side, uncross the leg, taking both legs long to a straddle, and then find a little forward fold here. And as you roll out of that, let's do the other side. So we will bring our feet back to staff pose. Bringing left ankle over, or you had that first option of foot to the inner thigh and extending. You had your second option of crossing the ankle and extending or holding here with the chin resting on the fist. Or your third option was full seated fire log, ankle above knee, knee above ankle. And placing any props there. So if you have that mini bolster, it might feel good there, or if you have a blanket rolled up, it may feel good there. Check in with the ankle that's on top of the knee, that you're not creating too much tension in the bottom knee or pinching. And little press of your right hip forward. Remember, we're going to start a bit taller for the first half, and I'll let you know we're halfway through where you can go a little further. So find some height in your spine. And then you're going to exhale out and find your edge here. Close the eyes. Our yin practice is about loosening our grip. Our yin practice is about less attachment, finding santosha, contentment. And as I mentioned on the first side, yin is working more into the tissue and less into the muscle of this posture. So maybe do your own check-in of areas that you're gripping to. Checking in with the jaw, the palms, even the toes. Send breath, send prana to those spaces. And you're about halfway if you can reach out or lean forward. Three long breaths. Slowly moving all the way out, uncrossing that leg, coming into your straddle one more time. Hinging from your hips and bowing forward. Moving all the way up. And we will move our bolster just to the side. Coming into sphinx. Taking your blanket, and you might be just enough just to fold it once, about this thickness. It's going to be placed under your abdomen. So we don't want it too tall because with our sphinx pose on our belly, we're opening our chest and we're going to be working in that low back. So the more height you have, the more tension and compression that might be caused there. So I can demo it first, if you like. I'm going to place that blanket in the middle of your mat. I might back up a little bit actually. And as you come down, we want it to be underneath the belly or more so right just above that pubic bone. So for me, I actually might fold mine up on more here. I'm a bit more warmed up today. This is my third practice, but for you, please honor that you might want to start at a lower level. So think about right above that pubic bone. It's where we want the placement of the blanket. And then we want to bring our elbows underneath our shoulders. So likely I'm going to knock my water. You'll see. Elbows underneath our shoulders. Palms are pressed into the mat. You're going to start with grip so that you're just reminding yourself to lift your head and your heart. But then you're going to loosen that grip. It might mean having to open the palms here. If you don't feel comfortable with the blanket underneath your abdomen, don't use it. Press your hip bones forward and then soften that space. Close the eyes again. Let's set our timer. You may want to bring a visual to mind. Maybe focus on the solar plexus, right above the navel. We're giving a little massage for the intestines in our sphinx or cobra pose. It's working on the reproductive system. It's working on detoxifying in the core. And doing a reset in the intestines. Think of this as your little massage to loosen everything. If your head starts to dip down, you can allow it. We want to loosen our grip. Anytime you find this is too much for your shoulders, and walk your elbows away from your chest so they're a little further away. They don't have to be directly under the shoulders. You are halfway in this pose. If you need to move, you're welcome to. Let's see if you can press past that. Repeat, long breath. You're either welcome to press back to child's pose or press up just enough to remove your blanket that was underneath and to come fully back to the earth, head down. And slowly press back up to table. And then from table, we'll come into our final in pose. We're going to take the legs out in front. And to reset the spine, after doing that heart opener and back bend there with our sphinx, we'll come into that full straddle now. So in between our seated fire log, we did a pause and straddle. Now we're going to use our bolster again and use our block. Depending on the size of your bolster, you may want to have one block at the low level, one block at the tall level, making a ramp, and then bringing that bolster on top. We want to be able to recline here and get to a comfortable part or position. So it might even be just hugging your bolster, not using your block. As long as you're not gripping, it should be comforting. And we want to get to a space where we're finding length in the spine. You can micro bend into your knees. Think about that pubic bone tilting forward. And if you have a blanket and you want to tuck yourself in and wrap it around you, or if you want to roll up the blanket and bring everything closer, maybe bringing your chin or your head down in the blanket on top of the bolster, it's another option as well. Okay, so finding that reclined, or sorry, we're forward fold, I should say. You want to start to find length in the spine. If you want, you can also take one cheek down instead of bringing the head forward, so that's a bit more comfortable for breath. And I'll let you know when we're halfway and you can switch to the other side. Softening the grip of the jaw. You are halfway if you're switching cheeks. Three long breaths here. We'll slowly roll up, pressing our hands into the mat, moving blocks and props. Feel free to stay longer if you wish as we're coming into Shavasana. If you've come out of that pose, it might feel good to just come for a moment to rabbit by bringing knees to chest, tucking our chin down. And then finding your way either to your spine for Shavasana or take a seated Shavasana, stay your choice. And because you have your bolster, you have props. Maybe even bring them underneath your knees for your Shavasana. Maybe make a pillow with that blanket or use an actual pillow to put under your head as long as you're not arching the neck. Finding your final posture. Finding stillness in the mind. Finding stillness with the breath. Finding stillness in the body. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more like that. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the breath. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay as long as you need in corpse pose. If you are ready to move, you will roll to a favorite side to close your practice. And slowly come to seated. Palms are going to come to third eye, to Anjali chakra for intuition, to our mouth and our throat, Vishuddha for speaking our truth, and to our heart space, Anahata, for connection. Thank you for trusting in me as your guide. It was my honor to lead you in practice, from my heart to yours. Put a little love in your heart. Namaste.